Om Tavakathamritam Tapta Jivanam Kaviviriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadatatam Bhuvigrinanti Ye Buridajana. Okay. May these words of nectar of Sri Ramakrishna, may they be auspicious and may they spread throughout the entire universe and bless us all. Okay. The Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, it was 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. M found Sri Ramakrishna seated on the couch in an abstracted mood. After some time, he heard him talking to the Divine Mother. The Master said, "O Mother, why hast thou given him only a particle?" Remaining silent for a few moments, he added, "I understand it, Mother. That little bit will be enough for him and will serve thy purpose. That little bit will enable him to teach people." Did the Master thus transmit spiritual powers to his disciples? Did he thus come to know that his disciples after him would go out into the world as teachers of men? Just one side note, does anyone know when he's saying, I read this just earlier today, given him a particle, who was he referring to? He was referring to Sri M, the Gospel, the writer of the Gospel. And so oftentimes he refers to himself in the third person. Why did he give him only a particle? Rakhal was in the room. Sri Ramakrishna was still in a state of partial consciousness when he said to Rakhal, "You were angry with me, weren't you? Do you know why I made you angry? There was a reason. Only then would the medicine work. The surgeon first brings an abscess to a head. Only then does he apply a herb so that it may burst and dry up." After a pause, he went on, "Yes, I have found Hazra to be like a piece of dry wood. Then why does he live here? This has a meaning too. The play is enlivened by the presence of troublemakers like Jatila and Kutila." To M, "One must accept the forms of God. Do you know the meaning of the image of Jagadhatri? She is the bearer of the universe. Without her support and protection, the universe would fall from its place and be destroyed. The Divine Mother, Jagadhatri, reveals herself in the heart of one who can control the mind, which may be compared to an elephant." Rakhal, "The mind is a mad elephant." Master, "Therefore, the lion, the carrier of the Divine Mother, keeps it under control." It was dusk. The evening service began in the temples. Sri Ramakrishna was chanting the names of the gods and goddesses. He was seated on the small couch with folded hands and became absorbed in contemplation of the Divine Mother. The world outside was flooded with moonlight, and the devotees inside the Master's room sat in silence and looked at his serene face. So I've been there many times, this Dakshineshwar at evening time. I've gone there almost like every week, like the past 9 years. So what's really interesting about this arati when it takes place, of course you have the Divine Mother. At the same time you have Vishnu, the temple of Krishna taking place at the same time. And right across from that, Shiva's arati as well. So you have these 3 separate aratis taking place at the same time. So, in the meantime, Govinda of Belghoria and some of his friends had entered the room. Sri Ramakrishna was still in a semi-conscious state. After a few minutes, he said to the devotees, "Tell me your doubts. I shall explain everything." Govinda and the other devotees looked thoughtful. Govinda, "Revered sir, why does the mother have a black complexion? Master, you see her as black because you are far away from her. Go near, and you will find her devoid of all color. The water of a lake appears black from a distance. Go near and take the water in your hand, and you will see that it has no color at all. Similarly, the sky looks blue from a distance, but look at the atmosphere near you. It has no color. The nearer you come to God, the more you will realize that He has neither name nor form. If you move away from the Divine Mother, you will find her blue like the grass flower. Is Shama male or female? A man once saw the image of the Divine Mother wearing a sacred thread. He said to the worshipper, "What? You have put the sacred thread on the Mother's neck." The worshipper said, "Brother, I see that you have truly known the Mother, but I have not been able to find out whether she is male or female. That is why I have put the sacred thread on her image." That which is Shama is also Brahman. That which has form, again, is without form. That which has attributes, again, has no attributes. Brahman is Shakti. Shakti is Brahman. They are not two. These are only two aspects, male and female, of the same reality, existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute. Govinda, what is the meaning of Yoga Maya? Master, it signifies the yoga or union of Purusha and Prakriti. Whatever you perceive in the universe is the outcome of this union. Take the image of Shiva and Kali. Kali stands on the bosom of Shiva. Shiva lies under her feet like a corpse. Kali looks at Shiva. All this denotes the union of Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha is inactive. Therefore, Shiva lies on the ground like a corpse. Prakriti performs all her activity in conjunction with Purusha. Thus she creates, preserves, and destroys. That is also the meaning of the conjoined images of Radha and Krishna. On account of that union, again, the images are slightly inclined towards each other. To denote this union, Sri Krishna wears a pearl in his nose, Radha a blue stone in hers. Radha has a fair complexion, bright as the pearl. Sri Krishna's is blue. For this reason, Radha wears the blue stone. Further, Krishna's apparel is yellow and Radha's blue. Who is the best devotee of God? It is he who sees, after the realization of Brahman, that God alone has become all living beings, the universe, and the 24 cosmic principles. One must discriminate at first, saying not this, and reach the roof. After that, one realizes that the steps are made of the same materials as the roof, namely brick, lime, and brick dust. The devotee realizes that it is Brahman alone that has become all these, the living beings, the universe, and so on. Mere dry reasoning, I spit on it. I have no use for it. The master spits on the ground. Why should I make myself dry through mere reasoning? May I have unalloyed love for the lotus feet of God, as long as the consciousness of I and you remains with me. To Govinda, sometimes I say, Thou art verily I, and I am verily thou. Again I feel, thou art thou. Then I do not find any trace of I. It is Shakti alone that becomes flesh as God incarnate. According to one school of thought, Rama and Krishna are but two waves in the ocean of absolute bliss and consciousness. Chaitanya consciousness is awakened after Advaita Jnana, the knowledge of the non-dual Brahman. Then you perceive that God alone exists in all beings as consciousness. After the realization comes Ananda, bliss. Advaita, Chaitanya, and Nityananda. To M. Let me ask you not to disbelieve in the forms of God. Have faith in God's forms. Meditate on that form of God which appeals to your mind. To Govinda. The fact is that one does not feel the longing to know or see God as long as one wants to enjoy worldly objects. The child forgets everything when he plays with his toys. Try to cajole him away from play with the sweet meat. You will not succeed. He will only eat a bit of it. When he relishes neither the sweet meat nor his play, then he says, I want to go to my mother. He doesn't care for the sweet meat anymore. If a man whom he doesn't know and has never seen says to the child, come along, I shall take you to your mother. The child follows him. The child will go with anyone who will carry him to his mother. The soul becomes restless for God when one is through with the enjoyment of worldly things. Then a person has only one thought, how to realize God. He listens to whatever anyone says to him about God. M to himself, alas, the soul becomes restless for God only when one is through with the enjoyment of worldly things. August 18th, 1883. Sri Ramakrishna was at Balaram Bose's house in Kolkata. He was explaining the mystery of divine incarnation to the devotees. Master, in order to bring people spiritual knowledge, an incarnation of God lives in the world in the company of devotees, cherishing an attitude of love for God. It is like going up and coming down the stairs after having once reached the roof. In order to reach the roof, other people should follow the path of devotion, as long as they have not attained knowledge and become free of desire. The roof can only be reached when all desires are done away with. The shopkeeper does not go to bed before finishing his accounts. He goes to sleep only when his accounts are finished. A man will certainly succeed if he will take the plunge. Success is sure for such a man. Well, what do you think of the worship conducted by Keshab, Shivanath, and the other Brahmo leaders? M. They are satisfied, as you say, with describing the garden, but they seldom speak of seeing the master of the garden. Describing the garden is the beginning and end of their worship. So this is one thing I just wanted to say. You see, this is like, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit tomorrow, Ramakrishna's methodology of teaching. He taught each one in a separate way. But I was going to argue this tomorrow. He's like the ideal growth mindset teacher. So with Master Mahoshai, I just went there 2 weeks ago. There's this place where he lived, Kathamrita Bhavan. That's where he did the majority of his writing of the Kathamrita. And how did he do that? He did this all in Bangla. But what he did is he took shorthand notes. And sometimes he would just, like an image, a few words. And then later on, years afterwards, he would recollect the entire incident. So you can see this again and again in the Kathamrita or the Gospel, that sometimes Ramakrishna will ask him, what did I say? And sometimes he would correct him, no, that's not what I said. This is what I said. He's training his memory. He's training that idea of recollection. And that's why It's fascinating how we look at in the Bangla, these notes, just a few notes are there. How from that, in Bengali, how he just whatever, just shorthand notes, and how from those shorthand notes, if you read the gospel, how he just recollects everything word for word. It's really an amazing gift, but that did not come by itself. It's like those who are a court reporter, they have to be trained to take down every word without bias. Same thing with how Sri Ramakrishna trained Master Mahashaya. It's there in many different instances. No, this is not what I said. That's what I said. If any of you visit India, you should visit the Kathamrita Bhavan. It's really an outstanding place that now we've recently acquired it. It did not belong to us before. The last living descendant of Master Mahashaya, his name was also Deepak Gupta. So my name is also Deepak, so we were very close. So I used to go in, we were very close. And so he was living there. And when you go, we constructed an adjacent building right next to the Kathamrita Bhavan. And that's where our monks stay. That original building is still there. And if you go there, you go to the first floor. On the left-hand side will be Master Mahashaya's bedroom. When you go to that bedroom, Holy Mother lived there for three months at one time. And in that bedroom is the original bed where he used to live, sleep, his sandals, the ink pen that he used to write the Kathamrita with. A shirt of Sri Ramakrishna's is there, and some other artifacts of Sri Ramakrishna's. And when you go there, that vibration is so strong that you just feel like you're meditating there. Swamiji and many others used to say about him that he was a rishi, and he came for this specific purpose of this Kathamrita. And just one other thing, there's one other floor. You have to climb these wooden stairs. These original wooden stairs are still there. And it's a very holy place. That floor above, that's temple room. There's a temple room there where Holy Mother used to perform worship. After the passing of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother stayed with Master Mahashaya. And he stayed at his house, along with, at times, Balaram Bose's house. So that's where she gave initiation. That room is there. And there's one Durga image, Durga pot, this ghata. So it's like a wooden pot. And on that, she installed that pot there. There's also the relics of Sri Ramakrishna, his hair, his nails, the japamala that Sri Ramakrishna offered at Holy Mother's feet during the Shorashri Puja, that's there. And many different artifacts. In fact, there's 2 other pictures of Holy Mother and Sri Ramakrishna. Holy Mother herself established those pictures there. So it's a very lively place. And that, just before I'll get back to here, in that district, if you just, that's called that's Jhamarpukur. And just one other thing, so that even though Sri Ramakrishna visited there a couple of times, but that place is enlivened. There's so many, every corner, Sri Ramakrishna stayed there from 1850 to 1852, the middle of 1852. That was his first, when he came from Kamarpukur to help his brother, he came in the first week of 1850. So there's a whole lila there, where he used to live with his brother, this chalghat, this tin house is there. It's no longer there now. Then where he used to do puja, there's 2 different places where he used to do puja. Those images are still there. And then the first image of the Mother Kali that he used to worship, this Tantaniya Kali Ma, that's there, just right nearby. Similarly, right next to there is where Swamiji used to go to school, young Narendranath Datta, Vidya Shagar School. So if you go inside there, again, there's where he used to attend as a student. And also this Kokha Maharaj, Swami Shubodhananda, his grandfather is the one, he had a dream where the Divine Mother came to him and asked him to, this Tantaniya Kali Ma image was there, so he asked him to build a temple there and to worship the Divine Mother every day. So if you have that image and that knowledge, so that whole place is very vibrant. Let me just continue. Master M. They are satisfied, as you said, with describing the garden, but they seldom speak of seeing the master of the garden. Describing the garden is the beginning and end of their worship. Master, you are right. Our only duty is to seek the master of the garden and to speak to him. The only purpose of life is to realize God. Sri Ramakrishna then went to Adhar's house. After dusk, he sang and danced in Adhar's drawing room. So Adhar Sen is a really interesting. His house is not so far from there. He was a close devotee of Ramakrishna. His house is still there today, and it's occupied by his descendants. And that house, every year during Durga Puja, they have a very big celebration there. And the room where Ramakrishna stayed, where he sat, that's all there. And Adhar Sen was a very special devotee of the master, and he passed away at a young age. He was, I think, a deputy magistrate. He had a good salary. And so Ramakrishna told him not to ride on a horse, but he rode on the horse, and I think he fell down, so near his house. M. Rakhal and other devotees were present. After the music, he sat down, still in an ecstatic mood. He said to Rakhal, This religious fervor is not like rain in the rainy season, which comes in torrents and goes in torrents. It is like an image of Shiva that has not been set up by human hands, but is a natural one that has sprung up, as it were, from the bowels of the earth. What he's talking about here is something called the Jyoti Linga. So they say that in 12 places in India, there's these Jyoti Lingas, that they sprung up from the earth without any type of, it's not man-made. So I've visited all 12 Jyoti Lingas during my time in India. And no, Amarnath is not there. Kashi Vishwanath, that's one of the Jyoti Lingas. So 12 are there. Yeah, please.
The word Jyoti is light, so how does that fit in?
Well, because there's a incident in Kashi, right, where Shiva, Brahma and Vishnu were trying to see where Shiva is, right? So Brahma went way below. That place is Manikarnika Ghat in Kashi. He went down to the middle of the earth, and Vishnu went high above. And neither could find where Shiva begins and where he ends. Then Brahma lied though. He said, I found Shiva down below. So then he was cursed. That's why he's not, these are all Puranas, but anyway, that's why he's not worshipped in India. But then a beam of light came. Kashi kashyate. Kashi, that dhatu root actually means light, manifestation light. So that's why when they say Jyoti Linga, I think that's where that comes from, that light. Shiva is nothing but light. Let's see. Okay, it is like an image of Shiva that is not set up by human hands, but is a natural one that has sprung up, as it were, from the bowels of the earth. The other day, you left Dakshineshwar in a temper. I prayed to the Divine Mother to forgive you. So that's also nice too. Rakhal got angry with the master. So it's not like they were like, this is something that we sometimes miss, I feel, that we see these great images, but they also had a transformation process as well. You can say it's a Leela or not, but definitely when we see them at the end, Swami Brahmananda, all these different direct disciples. I think Josephine MacLeod said that about Swamiji. She told one of Swamiji's young disciples, you should do more tapasya, spiritual austerities. Then Josephine MacLeod continued, Swamiji did not fall from the skies. He became what he was from his tapasya, his spiritual austerities. So same thing we see here, even with, and this is really evident in the original Bengali, that we see we see a more human side. So yes, Rakhal became angry. Afterwards, that thing got cleared. So it's okay, It's okay to get these things happen. These things are part of life and part of the growth process. Okay, the master was still in an abstracted mood and said to Adhar, "My son, meditate on the deity whose name you chanted." With these words, he touched Adhar's tongue with his finger and wrote something on it. Did the master thereby impart spirituality to Adhar? So one last thing, I love how Master Mahashai does this. This is different from Semitic religions where they impose something on you. He doesn't do that. In law, we call this the Socratic method. He raises questions. The purpose is not to give a conclusion. The purpose is for you to think it out, to contemplate. Impart spirituality to Adhar. A question mark. Why didn't he not say he imparted spirituality to Adhar? Right? Same thing with the master too. Thakur, he was never top down. I wrote an article on this in his conversation with Pashupashinath. He was never top down that you do this, you do that. He really engaged the mind. And we also have to engage our mind as well. So I think we're done now. So.
There should be a sheet that says what the lecture is tomorrow.
Okay.
And the Wednesday class, the Wednesday reading.
Okay. So tomorrow's lecture is Sri Ramakrishna and the Growth Mindset. Swami Chidekananda, Advaita Ashram, Kolkata. Wednesday's class at 5 p.m. How a Shepherd Boy Became a Saint. Swami Adbhutananda by Swami Chaitanananda, Pravrajika Krishna Prana.
And then I think Saturday is Swami Sarvadevananda's Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, Saturday the 18th, next week, 5 p.m. Bhagavad Gita, Swami Sarvadevanandaji.